Hey guys, are you struggling trying to study and it's just not working? You've got too much material to study and you just cannot focus. Well, if you're interested in this video, I am going to share with you my top tips on how I studied for nurse practitioner school. If you're interested, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jamesia Capri, the Nurse Practitioner Extraordinaire. And if you're new to my channel, welcome guys. Subscribe, hit that like button, hit the bell notification, and it will let you know every time I upload on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And I am doing a couple lives, so hey, go watch some of those lives. I've got some great tips for assessment, for what do I have? I think I have some presenting a patient and pushback from doctors and nurses as a nurse practitioner, stuff like that. So watch some of my lives or meet me on a Thursday when I do a live, or watch some of my other videos. I got some great tips here. So anyway, so yeah, I want to share with you guys some tips on how I studied successfully during my nurse practitioner program. And they're kind of basic tips, but they really do work for everyone. And I wanted to go over that. Some of my tips you can pick up in some other videos, but this video is specific to that. So basically how I study, the number one tip is to have a routine. So when you go to study, you want to do the same thing every time. Now, what I did was I either left the house and went to Barnes & Noble to study, or I got into a room that was just for me. No one else could come in the room. They knew when I was in that room, I was there by myself and you could not get in. So what I like or really love about Barnes & Noble is they have this music in the background. It's something with their playlist or music that really helps you to just focus. And if I was not at Barnes & Noble, it was really hard for me to study. Not only did I have little kids in the house, I had a husband and everybody kind of vying for my time. And if they knew I was home, they didn't really care about my studying. They really just kind of cared about themselves a little, you know, wanting mom to be mom. So that's important. And another routine that I have, which is a small routine, but it helps me focus. I take some aromatherapy lotion. Can you guys see that? Oh, you probably can't see it. But I take some aromatherapy lotion and I put it on my hands right before I start studying. And the smell, it just really helps you like focus. If you get a lavender or a eucalyptus spearmint, which is what I use. I also, when I study, and I think I mentioned this in another video, I always have gum. Gum, for whatever reason, helps you focus like crazy, like none other. So I use sugar-free gum, but it is the same routine every time. Now, this is not part of this particular tip, but I do want to tell you guys, if by chance you're getting ready to start a program or you're getting ready to start a class that's really strenuous, like pathophysiology or pharmacology or something like that, don't start dieting. Don't change anything up on your diet plan or anything like that, because you're going to sabotage yourself. So just stick with what you're doing. Lose weight when you're done. Okay, so that's a tip. Another tip is to get a study partner or a study group. Now, for me, like I said, I'd go to Barnes & Noble. I would meet my study group there and we would study. What we did was we would take sections of the chapter and teach each other that section. So being a nurse and being in nursing school, being in nurse practitioner school, you know that those chapters are really long. They are long, and you are expected to read those chapters. So if you have someone that you can work with and you guys divide the chapters, you do that. and teach each other the main concepts of the chapter. I'm not saying to rely solely on someone else, but if you have someone you can fall back on and they can teach you and you can teach them, then that is wonderful. Okay, so and you're going to have to find those people, because there's not, not everybody can do that. But if you find someone that can do that, it is great. So find someone to do that. And as my tip number 3 is note taking. So review all of the notes that you've taken when you're with your partner or your group, and make sure you highlight the tips of whatever your partner gave you, and then go over the highlights from that. If your instructor gives you PowerPoints, you make sure you use all of those PowerPoints, because normally what your instructor will do, your instructor will already pull out the main points from that PowerPoint, and you highlight that. If there's something in the PowerPoint that doesn't make sense, you go to your book, you verify it, take what you found from your book and write onto your notes. Make your own notes so that you understand. I hope that makes sense, okay? And then my 4th tip is mnemonics. I have mnemonics for everything. And you want to either make a song, make a mnemonic, whatever you need to do to remember a large amount of material, whatever will jog your memory to do that. So just like I did my cranial nerves video, if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that, or maybe I'll put a link somewhere up here so that you can see that. But it talks about, the mnemonics to learn your cranial nerves. So you can do the same exact thing with a large bulk of material to learn. So yeah, like my mnemonic for the cranial nerves was on old Olympus towering top, a fin in German viewed some hops. Makes no sense, but I remember it, right? Yeah, so number 5, the biggest way I start to learn is to first memorize. If there's a piece of material that I do not know or that I'm having difficulty with, I memorize it. I make flashcards and I memorize it, and then I go back and then I do a little bit of research on it, and then I try to understand it from that standpoint. And if I can't get it from there, I will go to a lower grade, like maybe the bachelor's level, to explain at the doctoral level, so I can at least get some understanding. So I hope that makes sense there. Yeah, so once you understand the why of what you're learning as well, it makes it stick. So if you are looking at, say for instance, a CBC, and you know your values are supposed to be within a certain range, and once it gets lower than that certain range, you know that you possibly have a situation of anemia or bleeding from somewhere or cancer or something like that, then you know why, and it helps you to remember those lab values, because now you have some type of why behind the value, okay? So I know that may sound boring, but it does work to memorize first and then learn the why behind that, okay? I have here that I memorize first over and over, and then I will go back to understand and learn the why. And for me, it does take everything when I study. It takes mnemonics, it takes memorization, it takes someone teaching me, then me teaching someone else, and all of those things. So it takes a lot of time. And time is something that we really don't have nowadays. People are still working full-time and trying to do a full-time program, which I don't recommend, but who cannot, sometimes you just can't, you have to work. So that's why you need a group. That's why you need people to help. And if you don't have that, then record yourself and listen to it on the way to wherever you're going. I don't know, I'm dating myself, record, like, I used to record myself on a cassette tape, so it's kind of dating myself. So flashcards, recordings, books, study groups, mnemonics, teaching someone, them teaching you, reading, and memorization. So another thing that I used to do, I used to take what I learned and I would try to explain it to my kids so that they could understand it. And until they really kind of understood or got a clue of what I was saying, I felt like I didn't really know the material enough to explain it. Like nowadays when I explain, like say for instance, someone asked me, well, why would you get like, say for instance, the two-part, no, that's not a good example. Okay, like say for instance, I'm trying to explain like say I'm trying to explain an immunization and how immunizations work. So I would say something like to my kids, okay, like, well, I will inject you with something that's kind of like a foreign body to your body so that your body can build up its immunity to that foreign object. So that the next time that foreign object comes or that virus comes and wants to get into your system is ready to fight it. And your system is like, no, get away from me, get out of me. I'm going to fight you with what they have in their system already. So that's how vaccines kind of work. Just at the childish level, as childish as you can get to help them understand it, because then that means you understand it. I hope you guys understood that. Now you guys are like, I'm confused. But anyway, no, so those are my ways to study. And remember, don't compare yourself with anybody else. The way you study or the way that works for you, then take it and let it work for you. And don't get caught up in, oh, they're getting it and I'm not getting it, or oh, they're so much smarter, or this, that, or the other, because that's not necessarily the case. It's just, you might just be a different type of learner. And I found that through the years that I'm just that type of learner too. I'm just different, and I need all types of tools, and I hope these tools were helpful for you. And that is all, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.